Alright guys, let me show you what's really cool about .NET Standard 2.0. I will show you this with this solution in which I have two projects. One project here is targeting .NET Standard 1.6 and the other project is targeting .NET Standard 2.0. So let's look at .NET Standard 1.6 first. Let's assume I want to reuse some code. Let's say I want to serialize an object. So I would say how to serialize an object in C#, and I would find an interesting article on MSDN. And I would scroll down. Of course, you would read this, right? But as you all know, we're just attracted by code. So we look at the code sample here, and we would immediately try to make the code sample, to play with it. And we would copy and paste it in our project. And I would start compile, and I would immediately get a bunch of compilation errors. Something like serializer attribute cannot be found, the type serializable cannot be found, and you might think, hey, I know Roslyn, I know some Kung Fu, so you would do control dot, but you would still be disappointed because serializable actually doesn't exist in .NET Standard 1.6. You just can't use that. So let's just copy in this whole code here, or let me actually cut it, and then we go to .NET Standard 2.0, and I just paste this whole code in. And I hit compile, and immediately, as you can see, the build succeeded. So this is a great example of an API that we added in .NET Standard 2.0, so you're now able to serialize objects. All right, let me try something a bit more challenging. Let's say I want to reuse an existing library that was written way before .NET Standard existed, or even before portable class libraries existed. Let me look at a concrete example here. Let's say I want to use Power Collections, which is an amazing collection library written by our friends at Wintellect. So you go to Downloads, and you can see this library was initially written in 2005 and last updated in 2007. So it is definitely older than portable class libraries or .NET Standard. Let's say I would have downloaded this thing, which I already have, and you want to add a reference to that. So you would browse, you would select the library, you click Add, you would recompile, and of course it recompiles. Everything is good, right? Well, not quite. Let's actually start using this thing before we actually know for sure. So let's say I want to return a new bag of int, which is one of those APIs that this collection library offers. So I do that. I recompile. And of course, I need to do some Roslyn foo here to actually add the using. And now I get really weird compiler errors. Like the type object is defined in assembly that is not referenced. Well, why is that? Well, the reason for that is that this library was written for the .NET framework. So without some magic, it will not just work in .NET Standard. So let me actually undo all of this here. Let me actually just copy this first. Let me undo all of this so we get back to a state that compiles. And then we try this in .NET Standard 2.0. So I add the reference here. And I change that code here. I add the using. I recompile, and everything just works. So, and finally, I would like to show you what all of this means for .NET Core. So now I have changed my solution to actually include a .NET Core console app. This version of .NET Core is actually the next version which implements .NET Standard 2.0, which means I could now add a project reference for my .NET Core console app to my .NET Standard 2.0 class library. And now I would like to reuse the method we have written earlier from my .NET Core app. Let me actually paste in the right code for that. Let me just add this. And now what's interesting to notice, now I'm having a .NET Core console app, but it also uses an existing .NET Framework binary. And if I run this now, everything just works fine. Thank you very much.